Twins News Time, 7:11. That's time for traffic and transit. That's time for Andre Farrell.
And bumper-to-bumper action continues at the Brooklyn Bridge round trip. Just ridiculous slowdowns if you're traveling on the southbound side of the FDR, passing the Manhattan Bridge and heading towards the Brooklyn Bridge ramps. It's just bumper-to-bumper throughout. Same deal with the westbound BQE, passing the Williamsburg and approaching Flushing Avenue. We have delays that go all the way back to the Kosciuszko and the LIE. Inbound Gowanus is slow, right around 39th Street, but then it gets really hairy over by the area of the Prospect and heading up towards Atlantic Avenue. The Brooklyn Battery Tunnel heading towards Brooklyn is also seeing lots of volume. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound George, just 10, 15 on the outbound side. Inbound Lincoln, it's around 10. Same deal with the inbound Holland. The Pulaski Skyway heading away from Jersey City and approaching Newark Airport, passing the Tunnel Avenue Circle. You do have some slowdowns there on the outbound side. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Westbound delays, LIE, Lakeville Road to the Queens border. Westbound Northern, passing the North Shore Towers and heading towards the Queens border is also slow. Southern seems to be the best of the bunch. Traffic sponsored by 7-Eleven. Next report, 7:21. Andre Farrow, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Let's check out the AccuWeather 4-day forecast now with meteorologist Brian Thompson.
It's going to be hazy as we head through tonight, as we'll still have some Canadian wildfire smoke around, causing some air quality and some haze issues at times. With a low close to 70 in the city, it'll be in the low 60s in some suburbs. Very warm tomorrow, but still not that humid with a partly to mostly sunny sky. Tomorrow's high about 87. Patchy clouds for tomorrow night, a low around 70 in the city. It'll be in the low 60s in some cooler suburbs. Not as warm on Wednesday with a mix of sun and clouds. Wednesday's high about 83. Then as we head into Thursday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, a high around 80. More sunshine for Friday. It'll be a warm afternoon. High temperatures up into the mid-80s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Coming up, if you want to come to the U.S. on a business or tourist visa, you may soon need to show the State Department the money. We'll explain.
Hey Yankees fans, come out to Yankee Stadium on Friday, September 5th when the Yankees host the Toronto Blue Jays and be ready to receive a Yankees promotional giveaway. It's Austin Wells football jersey night. The first 18,000 guests will receive an Austin Wells football jersey presented by Bank of America. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com/tickets. Again, don't miss the Yankees and Blue Jays for Austin Wells football jersey night on Friday, September 5th. Visit Yankees.com/tickets today.
The European Union is suspending its 2 packages of countermeasures to U.S. tariffs. This is in response to the deal that the EU made recently with President Trump.
An EU Commission spokesperson saying the EU will suspend its counter tariffs for at least 6 months as it continues to negotiate with the U.S. Trump's executive order last week set tariffs on most EU goods at 15%. The EU's counter tariffs were initially meant to respond to U.S. steel and aluminum duties, as well as Trump's baseline and car tariffs. Meanwhile, Switzerland, which is not part of the EU, says it's ready to make a more attractive offer in trade talks with Washington. The U.S. plans to implement a 39% tariff on Swiss goods. Inez de la Cotera, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
If you want to come to the U.S. on a business or tourist visa, the Trump administration may soon require you to show them the money.
The State Department is proposing requiring applicants for business and tourist visas to post a bond of up to $15,000 to apply to enter the United States. The department says it will start a 12-month pilot program with countries deemed to have a high overstay rate and deficient internal document security controls. The proposed program would begin in just a little over 2 weeks. Affected countries would be listed once the program actually takes effect. The bond would not apply to citizens of countries enrolled in the visa waiver program and could be waived for others depending on an applicant's individual circumstances. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Back in our area, shark sightings today at Rockaway Beach. That means out of the water. At least 3 shark sightings were recorded. Drones are used to confirm shark sightings. The beach was closed for swimming for an hour just after noon, approximately 1 mile in each direction of the sighting. There were several shark sightings in the Rockaways in July.
It's all happening at the zoo.
It is all happening at the zoo, unless you're a small unwanted pet given to the zoo by the pet's owner. Not to worry, the zoo is not here.
A zoo in Denmark is asking the public for donations of unwanted small pets or horses to feed its captive predators. The zoo says chickens, rabbits, and guinea pigs are an important part of the diet of its predators, which need whole prey like they would hunt in the wild. The zoo saying if you have a healthy animal that has to leave here for various reasons, feel free to donate it to us. It's also accepting horses for feeding its animals, which it says on its website are euthanized by a zookeeper and a veterinarian.
Here you go. Here's my horse. Okay, correspondent Matt Piper. Well, apparently we're on an animal kick here, or living things. If you haven't eaten yet tonight, this certainly will not help your appetite. A Massachusetts woman was vacationing in northern Arizona when a bat, here we go, flew into her mouth. 33-year-old Erica Kahn was taking photographs of the night sky. The bat approached and got caught in between her camera and face. Then part of the bat got into her mouth. Hard to believe, but that may not be the worst of it. She was recently laid off from her job as a biomedical engineer. She lost her health insurance. Cobra cost too much, so she decided against that and thought she could buy private health insurance in a pinch. She bought the policy and then went for rabies and other treatments in Arizona, not realizing that the policy had a 30-day waiting period before the plan would cover the treatments, and now her bills are more than $20,000. Laid off, a bat flies in her mouth, and $20,000 in health bills. That is a bad month. One silver lining: she has a new job with health insurance. From the heartbeat of Harlem to the energy of Washington Heights, we are New York's all-news station.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good evening. It's 82 degrees at 7:20. I'm Bud Mishkin. Here's what's happening. Questions tonight in the Bronx. How did a 1-year-old girl get into a pool by herself at a home daycare center? The girl died. Police are investigating. NYPD quality of life teams now responding to 311 calls in Brooklyn. Pancakes that cost more than $100? I hope that comes with coffee. A new city council proposal that would mean fewer parking spaces in New York. And some branches of the New York Public Library will now be open on Sundays. Sports tonight. The Mets host the Guardians. The Yankees are in Texas. AccuWeather, air quality alert until midnight thanks to the Canadian wildfire smoke that could reduce air quality at times into Thursday. Wins News Time 7:21. Now traffic and transit on the ones, and here's Andre Farrell.
Trouble on Long Island, not on the Big Three, but on the northbound side of the Seaford Oyster Bay, heading up towards Old Country Road, where we have an overturned car. Now, I live in that area. I'm telling you, the Seaford Oyster Bay is one of the fastest roads you will ever travel on. Cars just whip through there. And sure enough, we have this overturned car on the northbound side of the Seaford Oyster Bay by Old Country Road. Again, it's off to the shoulder. It's enough to cause a delay, though. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Heading westbound LIE, Lakeville Road to the Queens border. The long-term road work will slow you down. Approaching the Clearview, and the westbound Northern State Parkway is slow by Lakeville Road and heading towards the North Shore Towers. If you're on the westbound Southern, a little busy over by Peninsula Boulevard. Still working on an eastbound disabled vehicle on the Grand Central approaching Northern Boulevard heading towards City Field. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Whitestone Bridge a little slow entering Queens. Throgsneck and even the Triborough would be a better bet at this point. Outbound George Washington Bridge, throw in 20 minutes. Inbound is wide open. Lincoln and Holland tunnels look good. We have some trouble on the southbound side of the Merritt Parkway approaching the Westchester border. King Street as you head towards 128. It's either a disabled vehicle or some type of road work. I'm going to say it's a crash, though. I don't have a camera there, but it's definitely seeing some big delays. Southbound 95 into Stamford, you're slow, exit 8, and heading down towards exit 5. And even over by exit 4, Coscob, as you head over by Indian Field Road, there are some delays there as well. Next report would do that at 7:31. Andre Ferro, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
A 1-year-old girl in the Bronx is dead, leaving behind many questions. How did she possibly get into a pool alone at a home daycare in the Unionport section? There are no clear answers so far. A neighbor heard the child's screams and raced to try to save the child. The girl was found unconscious and unresponsive and later died at a local hospital. This happened Friday afternoon. The daycare was cited in 2023 for a violation involving supervision. We've reached out to the State Office of Children and Family Services for comment. There are now NYPD quality of life teams responding to 311 calls from Brooklyn as the Q team expansion continues.
How does your neighborhood look, sound, and make you feel? Complaints about these types of things and more are what the NYPD's Q teams are focused on, says Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
The chronic problems that chip away at a block's sense of order. The abandoned cars, the illegal vending, the repeat noise complaints, the sidewalk obstructions, homeless encampments.
Now fully deployed throughout Brooklyn, the department hopes to continue cutting down on 311 response times. Mayor Adams.
It's about what people feel. It's not just the numbers and the stats. but do you feel safe?
Next stop, Queens, next week. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Fort Greene.
It was yet another rough morning on the PATH train. Flames were seen on the rails at the Jersey City Newport station, and smoke filled at least one car. Passengers were evacuated. They were in the station at the time. The fire started at around 6:20 this morning. 13 people were treated for smoke inhalation, 9 hospitalized for further evaluation. The service was disrupted for about 5 hours, and then it resumed a bit after 11 a.m. We walk down the street, perhaps trying to speed around tourists, maybe with a slice in hand, or coffee, or both. But we all have distinctive gaits. Imagine that information being used to identify you. Gate technology is one of the new frontiers in surveillance technology. City Council member Jennifer Gutierrez has introduced a bill that would include gate matters in what the city considers personal, identifying, and private information.
The gate can very much be the cadence in your voice, the way you walk, certain things on like the way you type, right? It's like really intended to capture like your essence in a way that is not traditionally captured like on paper.
The bill is designed to place limits on how information would be collected and distributed. A bill would also include other identifiers such as keyboard stroke patterns and other information about how people use their phones and computers. There is a citywide scavenger hunt going on this month. The subject?
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot.
To celebrate the 10th anniversary of Hamilton, the show is partnering with New York City Tourism and Conventions and founded by NYC. Fans are invited to explore iconic New York City landmarks, solve clues, and then try to win tickets to see Hamilton on Broadway. Download the Ham app and get ready to uncover 12 special locations across the city. You'll need to visit and post photos from at least 3 different locations to qualify. And if you win, you got it. You get to be in the room where it happens. We have 82 degrees right now in lower Manhattan, going down to a low overnight of 70 in the city, low 60s in some of the suburbs. Now, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins.
Tech stocks helped lead today's rebound on Wall Street. Investors appear to be buying the dip since not many companies are reporting earnings this week. So far, the share of businesses beating estimates is the highest in 4 years. Combine that with rising expectation the Fed is poised to cut interest rates following Friday's July jobs disappointment. And we had fuel for the fire. Dow rose 585, NASDAQ up 403, S&P up 92, gains of 1 to 2%. Drug maker Eli Lilly was set to become the first pharmaceutical company to register $1 trillion valuation a year ago. But it has yet to crack that ceiling. Instead, it's been dealing with the threat of tariffs, a series of weak earnings reports, and a setback for its obesity drug Zepbound, taken off CVS Health's list of preferred drugs. But its fortunes could be changing. The company could deliver data in the next couple of months on a new GLP-1 drug in pill form, which, if positive, could boost its shares. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Andrew O'Day for 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Quick check of AccuWeather. We have an air quality alert until midnight tonight. Canadian wildfire smoke could reduce air quality at times into Thursday. Otherwise, mainly clear and hazy. Low 70 in the city. Some low, let's say this again, low 60s for the suburbs. This is 1010 Wins, New York's one and only all news station. Good evening. I'm Bud Mishkin. Wins news time at the Tone, 7:30.
Good evening, I'm Mario Boscas. People are flipping over pancakes at certain IHOPs.
Marry the latest TikTok trend with pancakes and people will beat a path to your door.
I'll pay for it, whatever it costs.
The Dubai chocolate pancakes, valued at $130, were actually free to the first 25 in line. And Ronaldo Gomez of Washington Heights was the first in line at 5 a.m. And are you excited to try the pancakes?
Oh, you bet, for science. It'll be quite an experience.
Buttermilk pancakes topped with actual Dubai chocolate bars, edible gold flakes, and Madagascar vanilla whipped topping.
So I've never had this in my mouth before to see. Maybe it will assault my senses. Interesting.
More like dessert than breakfast. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on East 14th Street.
Winds News time 7:31. Time for traffic and transit. Here's Andre Farrell.
Hey, Mario, let's go to the Brooklyn Bridge. It's been a tough go of it trying to get back into Brooklyn. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. We even had some police activity on the ramps from the FDR to get onto the Brooklyn Bridge. So you're still dealing with lots of volume heading across the span into Brooklyn and southbound delays on the FDR by Grand Street and heading down towards the ramps to the Brooklyn Bridge. And I see lots of cars trying to use the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel entering Brooklyn. That could be a good option for you. There were some earlier delays. Looks like they're slowly dissipating. If you're traveling in Queens, southbound, as you travel on the Van Wyck heading down towards Atlantic Avenue, bumper-to-bumper action there. And the northbound side is slow, heading up to the Q from the airport. Eastbound, as you pass LaGuardia Airport, that was JFK, you do have slowdowns over by Northern Boulevard still with that earlier crash still being worked on. Traveling on Long Island, here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Westbound delays, LIE by Little Neck Parkway heading to the Queens border. Then the westbound side of the Northern is busy right around New Hyde Park Road and heading towards the North Shore Towers. Some slight volume on the westbound Southern right by Peninsula Boulevard. Still working on a crash. Southbound Merritt Parkway heading down towards Westchester County coming in from Connecticut as you pass King Street 120A. The deal, though, on southbound 95 is not good. If you're using the 95 right into Stanford exit 8 and down towards Coscob and exit 4, there's road work and the delays are not good. Traffic and transit on the ones and breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
On to the AccuWeather 4-day forecast with meteorologist Brian Thompson.
It's going to be a pretty dry stretch of weather over the next several days as we'll see quite a bit of sunshine for the most part. There might be a few more clouds around toward the middle of the week, but again, we're looking at a pretty quiet stretch of weather. The main concern will be air quality issues due to Canadian wildfire smoke. And that could be an issue off and on over the next few days, and visibility could be impacted with some of the haze. It will be a bit hazy tonight, a mainly clear sky, low 70 in the city, low 60s in some suburbs. Very warm tomorrow, but just like today, not that humid. Partly to mostly sunny, a high of 87. Patchy clouds tomorrow night, lows in the 60s to around 70. Not as warm Wednesday and Thursday with clouds and sunshine, high 83 Wednesday, 80 on Thursday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
The city's about to shrink when it comes to parking. We're about to lose about 300,000 parking spots possibly throughout the city due to the council's daylighting proposal clearing corners for visibility. The bill pushed by council's Progressive Caucus looking to ban vehicles from parking within 20 feet of crosswalks at all intersections. That's called daylighting. Those supporting the move say this will save lives with improved visibility. Critics say it's just too expensive, cutting out around 10% of the city's free parking inventory. The Universal Daylighting Bill, as it's called, is sponsored by Queens Councilmember Julie Wan, said to bring the city into alignment with the state law already on the books. No word of Speaker Adams will bring this to a vote, though. Instead of baseball cheers, you heard that. A first for Coney Island.